For those of you just joining us, we're testing out our live streaming function on MOREways.org, and we thank you for joining us today. We're here live at Mather's More Than a Cafe on Central Avenue, and we're speaking with Jill Wonsil, who is a volunteer with Mather's More Than a Cafe locations. Hi, Jill.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good.
Well, I just wanted to start with some general questions about you and your background. Where are you from?
I was raised and born in Chicago, in fact, in this Portage Park area.
Oh, really?
Here, got married, move out, and now I'm back again.
Oh, so when you moved out of this area, what neighborhood did you move away into?
Well, I was in Albany Park, and then I went to Edgebrook, and then I was back here.
Would you say that the neighborhood has changed significantly?
Definitely.
Okay, how would you say it's changed over time?
It's different ethnic groups, and otherwise, it's pretty much the same, the parks and everything else, but ethnically it's changed a lot.
And what's your employment background? What's your line of work history?
I started out as a secretary, and I moved up in the company to customer service manager. I was with a company called Temple Steel Company, and they are manufacturers of electrical grade steel laminations, and what they go into, they stamp and punch the steel, very thin steel, into little pieces, and then they put it together and make motors for your electric doors in your cars, vacuum cleaners and whatnot. And I was a customer sales in that area.
And when did you leave that line of work?
I retired. I worked there for 26 years, and I retired in 2005.
Okay. And what do you like to do in your alone time, in your free time, when you're not hanging out with the grandkids or shuffling, between the cafes? What do you do to sort of decompress or revitalize?
Well, I like to do counted cross stitch. I have done at least over 100 pictures in counted cross stitch, and I like to read. And I also volunteer for North Shore Hospice, and I sit with patients. When I'm not doing volunteer work here, I sit with patients that need help, respite care for the caregivers.
Have you read any good books lately?
I like James Patterson a lot, and I've read the Harry Potter, and I like all kinds of different books.
What kind of a writer is James Patterson?
Gory mystery.
Oh, okay. And so you do have grandchildren, which means that you have children. So how many children and how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. The girls are 50, 49, and 47. I have 7 grandchildren. The oldest just graduated from college, and she's 22, and they go down to junior in high school. The 2 of them just turned 17.
Wow. And your eldest grandchild, what was he or she majoring in?
She was majoring in English.
Okay.
And now she was at Allegheny College in Pennsylvania, and now she is going to graduate school at the University of Miami in Ohio, Oxford, Ohio.
Wow. It's really impressive. So just back-to-back undergrad, straight into graduate school.
Yeah, she didn't want to wait because she was afraid that she wouldn't go back.
Yeah.
Someday she wants to have her PhD and be a professor.
Wow. And you hope that she does that in the Chicago area. Is that right?
Yeah, they live in Martin Grove.
Yeah.
And then my other 2 children, one lives in Antioch and one lives in Grays Lake.
Okay. And have you always been a really people-oriented person?
In high school, I was kind of like a loner. I can only say I had about 2 friends in high school. I had a lot of family responsibilities at that time when I was younger, because my father passed away when I was young. And so I had a younger sister that I helped my mom raise, and my mom had to go to work. So it was family responsibilities that I couldn't socialize after school so much and do that. So I know I was a loner, and I didn't have. Until I got married and had my own children, then I got involved with the school, and I got involved with the church, and now I have a network of friends that we still see one another, where all of our children grew up together, and we travel together. We see each other every 3-4 months for birthdays, and we celebrate quarter birthdays sporadically. So I said, and here, I have a social life here. I've met so many different people that I'm friends with. But this is like, and friends I had at work when I worked, but once you leave that atmosphere, you don't have anything in common anymore, because if you retire before they do, I'm old now. You know, that's what they think, and so you don't mingle with those friends anymore. So I've got the whole Mather network of friends, and I like it.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really far-reaching circle, and some of them are newer Mathers within this past decade, and some of them, then you've had them for 30, 40 years?
Right.
It's amazing. So I'm going to ask you some questions about how you became involved with Mather LifeWays. Like, was that about the time that you were repriring, as we would say, with Mather LifeWays?
Well, after I retired, I took off like 6 months of doing nothing, trying to decide what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And like I said, I was volunteering for hospice, and then I got the flyers, the mailings from Mathers, and I said, okay, that's a good way to get off my butt and get out of the house. So I came over here, and the first time we came back here, I mean, they said 3235 North Central, but because it being off of Central Avenue, I didn't see that big sign out there, you know, and just rode around, thought, where is this place anyhow, you know? So I just kept very persistent, and the first day I came in here, I met the receptionist, Linda, and I looked around the place, and I signed up as a MAD discount member right the same day, and I hadn't even taken any class. So that's how I got involved with Mathers, and I've been here ever since.
So we might say that half of what inspired you to sign up was just Linda then, right?
Right.
She's so charming.
Yes.
She's a wonderful receptionist. So then what were the first classes that you started taking when you first started coming to the cafe for class?
Well, I participated in exercise classes. I went to a couple free of the program lectures on programs. I came to some luncheons, and where they have the luncheons and entertainment. I did flower arranging, and then finally it just broadened out and got more often and more extensive, and got into the volunteer program, and that's just expands and expands.
So what do you find most rewarding about working as a volunteer with Mather LifeWays?
There's never one thing that I have, because I do so many things with different programs. One of the things is meeting new people, being able to help people, being able to talk to my peers about what they're going through. I feel that I can relate to them because I'm in the same situation they are. I'm aging. I have health issues. I have aches and pains. I have limited income, just income that I can't expand on anymore. So I feel that I can relate to them when they come in for some of the programs that I'm doing. And I like to just be out socially, meet new people, expand my mind, and not sit home all the time.
Do you find yourself being surprised at the amount of new information coming your way in a situation where you are instructing or aiding? Do you find yourself learning a lot from the other customers yourself? It comes back to you?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like there are so many things that people can get involved in here. Me, I like to keep busy. I like to do things. I like to work with people. But that's me. That doesn't mean every customer who comes in here is able to do or wants to do what I do. But there is something for everyone. Some can't get out of the house, and it's people like those who this program of live streaming is really going to be beneficial to those if they have computers, and we have to try and do that for people so they can have access, whether it's in a senior citizen living facility where they can go down into the lobby and watch a computer or whatever. because it's very, very important to keep your mind going as well as your body. Your eating habits are healthy, you're exercising, and it is very important for that.
So an online question, it's Jill, who has been your favorite exercise instructor and why?
Jill, who's been your favorite exercise instructor and why?
I can't answer that because, well, I can answer it, but I'm not going to say any names because I don't have any particular name in mind. Since I've started here in 2005, there have been loads of instructors coming and going. Now we have Beth, who is the fitness instructor here. She teaches some classes. I've experienced with Tom, the yoga instructor. So there is no one person because they are all very good, and whoever interviews them or hires them or what agencies they come into or whatever, they are all selected because they work with seniors. So they are really good with us and know what we can and can't do. Don't force us to do things. Now, if I really have to say who is the best, it's me. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I know. I volunteer for the exercise program. I started out with the Arthritis Foundation because the Arthritis Foundation is standard here. Went to their training classes, and an experience being a student in the classes helps also. But I am very privileged to be part of the program, and for Mathers and the managers at both cafes to want me to come and teach the class. So as far as having a favorite, I really don't, because we are all excellent in whatever we do. Mm-hmm. And there's a variety of classes that you can take. So, and every person, they have to pick an exercise class that fits their body and their needs. So they have to either observe classes or participate in one or two in order to choose who they get along with the best, or which one is best for their body.
So that leads me to ask you, you talked just a little bit about the arthritis instruction aid position that you have taken on over the years, but could you tell us more about the arthritis program through Mathers and sort of what you've, maybe a couple things you've learned along the way as an aide, and sort of what you enjoy about helping out, particularly with arthritis?
Well, there are a lot of diseases that are considered arthritic, and it's not only sore joints, but what they are considered most is the joints, inflammation. So that is why our class is called Relief, Reduce, and Range, because it's to relieve the pain, reduce the pain, and the range of motion, because it is for the joints. And I have osteoporosis myself, and I can tell you that sometimes in the morning it's very difficult to get up out of bed. But once you start moving, and that is the Arthritis Foundation theory, is if you move and strengthen the tissues around the joints, you will reduce, and range of motion. And we got involved here because Eileen, who is manager here, they started a program. It's just like starting this live streaming. They started working with the Arthritis Foundation, and she was like the administrator to coordinate with the foundation, and she was seeking different people who were wanting to volunteer and were interested in being an instructor.
How many people would you say are reoccurring participants with the arthritis instruction?
Well, I do it not twice a week now, because I do one class at Higgins as a fill-in until Eileen comes back, and one day here. It can vary from like 6 people to 15, depending on the weather, the climate, what they have else to do. One's an afternoon class, one's a morning class, so you get different people in the morning and different afternoon. So sometimes when everyone is here, this whole room is filled with people. So.
And you also do tax preparation, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Those are crazy times. I know for a fact that we, take the reservations up at the corporate office, and I'm thinking about all of you sitting down here preparing all of these taxes for hundreds and hundreds of people. How have you found that experience to be? What have you enjoyed about that?
I got involved with Eileen approaching me about the tax program because that was a new program that started in late 2005, and that became available, and she was looking for volunteers to help. In the beginning, there was only 2 of us that were doing tax preparation, and it just has evolved and grown. Okay, you want to do that, or should I finish mine? Okay, but we got involved with the tax program. We started in about October because we have to go through training. We have to pass a test. It's more book than it is one-on-one or teaching a class. And the first year that I started here, it was paper returns because they didn't have online e-file returns at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first year we did it. We started late, first in January, and then February is the tax season. So after the second year, I went to some accounting classes to learn more about the taxes so I would feel more comfortable doing it. And then once it became e-files, we recruited more volunteers, and now we're up to 7 volunteers that help us. And I can't ask for a better team than what I have between the people who have volunteered to do the tax program with us, because you are doing a large commitment. It is 3 days a week from February 1st until April 15th. Mm-hmm. And this year we did 550 returns. And so it is a big commitment. Then we have a group of greeters, because since it's through the ARP Foundation that they sponsor it, they work with IRS, and you have to have certain rules, and you have to have an intake form, which is an interview to make sure that you got everything that they say they have. And the people who do the tax preparation with me, they are very, very dedicated. And what makes me happy out of that is seeing them and thinking to themselves, what did I just do? Because none of us, well, I wouldn't say none of us, there's about 2 or 3 that have accounting backgrounds, but it's the rest of us do not have any accounting or tax history in our past. So we have learned now, because the first couple of years were pretty difficult learning and getting used to this. We do have training now. I train, that's why we start in October, and I do have training classes. We have training on the computer, and the satisfaction that probably all of us get out of it is just seeing someone come out of there and be relieved. They come in there all nervous, thinking they're going to owe money or not, and we seem to get it all back for them. So it's very rewarding to get thanked, to be thanked, to just see how much they appreciate what we do, because they can go somewhere else to a paid preparers and pay over $100 for nothing. They don't even have income enough to even have to file. So it's a very rewarding position to have.
And so now that you are facilitating the training, then you would be the person to ask, what if someone were interested in becoming trained and going ahead to become a volunteer tax preparer?
They should contact the manager at any Mather Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
If the managers are not there, leave a message with the receptionist. Since I'm a volunteer, I'm not here every day. Here sporadically during the week, different hours, but they should definitely contact the manager, or they can ask for Eileen, mm-hmm. and because she's in charge of all the volunteers, and she will arrange to get their name on the list, and we'd be glad to talk to them about the program and if they're interested.
And additionally, you're the MC for the open mic events at the cafes,
I
right?
don't do it every month. They have it once a month. I don't do it every month. But how I got started in that is one day I met my girlfriend here that had never been to Mathers, and we had lunch here. Well, it just so happened it was a late lunch, so it ran into the open mic. So I thought, gosh, is this kind of fun? But I will do anything, but I will not sing. So they were doing jokes and singing, and without music, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not.
So Gretchen, who is the manager here at the cafe on Central, she was the MC. And I thought, and then she, because of other duties that she has, it was getting more difficult for her to keep on doing it every month. So she decided to ask for volunteers to do it. So I volunteered, and I says, geez, I'd like to try it. So one thing good about it is that you can do it whenever you want to. You know, it's not that I'm committed to this once a month thing, because afternoons are kind of like a letdown for me. I like morning things to do during the morning better than afternoons. So that's like at 2 o'clock and I'm ready, you know, to slow down, go home, make dinner and stuff. But it's a lot of fun, and there are so many talented people here at Mathers. There's singers, there's jokesters, there's poets, there's writers. I mean, a variety of talent that you don't always get to see, except at that.
We have a couple questions from our viewers at home. Let me ask you, what is the motivation behind your unselfish use of your retirement time? You know, you could be taking vacations. And
Well, I do go on a lot of traveling too,
Yeah.
after tax season, but I do travel a lot. But my motivation is to just let seniors know that there is someone here that can help them with problems that they have. There's a resource of information at corporate, and there's a resource of information from just some like Gretchen and Kate and myself and a couple others that do like the ship and the taxes and everything else that we can refer them to. I want to see seniors and low income and disabled, the people we serve, be able to have access to programs that are available for them that we don't always know about. I mean, even when I started getting into a lot of this stuff, I thought, that's available for us, you know. And so I want everybody out there to know, and I would like to see people know that there is a social network that they can participate in, just like the phone topics for this live. That's part of, because I feel that socializing is also part of aging well, and it's not for everybody. There are people who just want to be, they just don't do that. They don't socialize, they don't like to exercise, they do, which is fine. But they should have access to like the live streaming, and in today's world that's possible, the telephone topics, to get the knowledge out there, to know what there is available for you. And that's my motivation, just to be there and get the word out.
it's sort of that do unto others as you'd have them do to you idea. You want people to know that they have access to all these things that fill your life with happiness, is what it sounds like. We have another question from our audience. They adore you. Mather LifeWays' mission is to create ways to age well. You mentioned that phrase. And we just wanted to know, I guess, how has volunteering at the cafe done that for you? How do you feel that you are aging better than you would have had you not become involved with Mather LifeWays?
Well, volunteering is just, it's better than a job. It is a job at times. If I look at how many hours I put in for the year, it's a lot of hours. Here at Mathers, if you do volunteer, you get a Mather buck for every hour you volunteer. Now, to some it may not sound a lot for what some of us do, like the tax program, the ship, and a lot of other things. But if you do it you can come in here and have a meal for free because you use that as money. Or you can go to a program that you can't afford because that's like money. So for some it is. Volunteering is just, like I said, it's better than a job because, like for instance, I was sick last week, so I couldn't do a class that I was scheduled for. I don't have to worry about that. I just let the person know, and they have to find someone to take the place or cancel a class, which I don't like doing either, because I feel that if I do commit to something, I like to follow through, so I'm not going to just stop without notifying people. But it is, you don't have to take orders from someone else, because here when you volunteer for a certain program and you start doing it, whether it's serving tables at luncheons, making follow-up courtesy calls for the tax program or for different programs to remind them that they're scheduled, you get your assignment, whatever it might be. There are so many opportunities that some people don't even know exist. And that's why if anybody likes to get involved, they can put in as many hours as they want or as little hours as they want and find something of interest. But it's like you're on your own. You're your own boss. They don't stand over your shoulder and watch if you're getting this project done or that project, because we're all old enough to know what we do is a responsibility, so we should be doing that. And we don't have to be, we're not making $15 an hour, you know. So, I mean, so that is why I just do it, and it gets me out of the house every day, you know, so.
And would you tell us a little bit about the SHIP program, the Seniors Health Insurance Program that you're a part of?
The SHIP is Senior Health Insurance Program. Is a state program, and it helps seniors, low-income seniors, and disability under 65 get programs, know about programs where they can get help because of low income or disabilities. It also, anybody turning 65 and close to retirement, we can inform them, help them with Medicare, explain the Medicare, the Part D, that is for the drug program, and any kind of programs that are offered by the state. And one of the state programs that they had a circuit breaker. Well, they discontinued 2 of the benefits on the circuit breaker program, so now it's benefit access. And seniors can get a free bus ride, bus pass. And they also can get, if they still have a car, they can get a $75 discount on their license plate renewal. For some, both programs are very needy if they want to keep social. And others, it doesn't matter, you know, to them, because they don't go out. One or the other can be very beneficial. If they drive, they like the car. If they take a bus, they don't have to pay anything. It's a free program. So it is a very worthwhile program. We can answer questions if you qualify for Medicaid, if you're entitled to any other kind of benefits through Medicaid or drugs or prescription drugs. And there are several. Gretchen does it, Kate. There are 2 gentlemen that do it over at Higgins, Tom Melvin and Joe Reuter, and myself. We all had to go to state training. There's always updated training every year that we have to attend seminars for to be trained in it. We don't have the college degrees that like Kate has in gerontology and whatever. I said, but the training that we go to is extensive enough to let us help the seniors that come in for the programs.
And as we close this interview, which has been really lovely and informative, I guess I have 2 questions to close with. The first one that I'll start with is, could you give us 3 quick pieces of advice for people to age well?
That everybody is so different. For me, it's eating well, which sometimes I don't do anyway. Keeping healthy and exercising is important, whether it's 1 day a week or twice, or if you just walk. But everybody cannot do those things. Everyone can't. So it might be different for everybody. But there are programs here for you to find what is good for you. And they have flower arranging, they have the Scrabble, they have card games, they have luncheons just with entertainment here. They have Friday night dances once a month. They have chess, they have bowling, they have free speakers here. And I mean, there's just a big wide range of different things that you can participate in. So if you don't like exercise, and you don't like to do something else that somebody else does, there's always something for you here at Mathers that you can find a friend. And we all have to remember that even though we don't see, I consider a lot of people here my friends. They're my Mather friends. We will help out whenever it's needed. So you shouldn't be afraid to ask. You have to ask for the help, because if I say to you, I'm here for you, I want to do it, I mean it. It's not, or if a friend says to me, Jill, I heard you're going for this test or whatever it is or whatever. If you need a ride or you need someone to go with you, let me know. But we sometimes don't do that. But we have to learn that our old friends and new friends, they wouldn't tell you that if they didn't mean it. So if you do need help, the help is here, and it's only a phone call away. You can call Mathers and get references for different things that are available. You can get, we have a driving program here for people that need a ride to doctors or a beauty shop or whatever. There's a program here that they have here. It is available. There's lawyers that can be, if you're working on a will or something, there are lawyers available through the Info Plus. It's here for you if you need it. And me as a friend and my friends, we know we're there all the time, but we have to learn to ask. It's even like being a volunteer. You can't sit there and wait for someone to come up to you and say, oh, gee, Jenny, I was looking for a volunteer. Do you think that you would like to do this? If you're interested, you come to Mathers and ask about opportunities to volunteer, because there is always something that can fit your needs and your personality.
Well, that answers my last question, which is about, going about approaching becoming a volunteer. So I think it's been great to have you here today. It's been great talking to you. We're really glad to everybody at home who's tuned into the live stream today. I think it's been quite successful. And we've been speaking with Jill Wonsil about volunteering at Mathers More Than a Cafe. So if you have not been in and you're interested in becoming a volunteer or coming in as a first-time customer, you're more than welcome. And I think you should take Jill's word for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.